secure commercial real estate investments, finally made possible in an accessible and affordable way, granting you complete freedom to manage your portfolio. A disruptive and innovative blockchain-backed platform that keeps your money completely secure while efficiently unlocking new possibilities. Sign up today at accrue.co.
Fantastic moderation by Rachel there, as always, and some great points by Tom Era when it comes to expanding and thinking to the next level, which really brings us to our next discussion. As we all know, the world is moving closer and closer toward a standstill digital narrative, whether it be through money with crypto, we're seeing art with NFTs absolutely surge, or decentralized exchanges running 100% through code. So our next group of guests will share why capital markets are next on the digital frontier for future generations. So please help me in welcoming Simetria CEO Keinan and Draper Goren Holm, founding partner and securities token submitter Josef Holm.
Hey Ziv, welcome to Security Token Summit. How are you?
Hey Joseph, great to be here. What a great conference.
Yeah, man, thanks for joining us. Let's kick this off by maybe talking about a little bit about yourself and sharing your background with the audience.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. So my background, I'm a corporate and securities lawyer, and in early 2018, I started Security Token Lawyers, which was the first law firm which was actually focused on digital security. Myself and two American lawyer friends started this focus firm, and actually we had the opportunity just to see the industry evolve. And visiting all those early conferences, I think one was arranged by Alon and yourself, and that was really cool. And so we really had the opportunity to grow together with the industry. And in parallel, I also did a lot of very interesting blockchain project, which are blockchain for social impact project. I also moderated a few TV shows. Just to give an exposure to that segment, I visited Rwanda last year, and that also led me to work with Ito, one of the most very interesting projects, the Good Dollar DeFi project, which actually is originated by Yoni Assia himself, with the aim to create a global UBI through cryptocurrency. And then, of course, I joined Onera. I helped Ami Ben David establish Onera and the Onera network. And later, we just saw the opportunity. We were here in Israel presenting Onera at the annual conference of the Israel Securities Authority. And we had the chance to sit with the head of the Securities Authority, and we learned about the amazing opportunity now in the market to create a digital exchange out of Israel, a fully regulated exchange. First time that you have a regulated exchange outside of the incumbent Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. And we decided this opportunity that is worth taking, and I spun out of Onera to create Simetria, a very separate company. Onera is a partner at Simetria, and yeah, we're moving forward with Simetria now.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and you've been in the news quite a bit, and you've done some really exciting things. But so for the audience who may not know Simetria yet, what's the story behind Simetria, and how did it all come to be? And why does the private market need a blockchain-based solution to begin with?
Yeah, so I started saying that we at Simetria we acknowledge the opportunity to start this private market out of Israel. That's a huge opportunity because right now, until today, there was only one market operating in Israel, and the group that we are a group of very passionate professional that believe that there should be additional market that's serving the local and blooming tech market out of Israel, with the aim to then expand globally. So some of us, for example, my colleague is is a former regulator, the former director of CONSI at the State of Israel. And we have some very great technology team. And Israel is a use case, is also very interesting. And I think that's a great place to start a private market from. So Israel has moved from what's been called until now like a startup nation into what is now a software nation. You see, like only last week we had eToro IPO at 10 billion. We have Iron Source IPO at 11 billion. We had 55 unicorns. More than 10% of the world unicorns are in Israel. And if you look at the cyberspace, the number is even more amazing. Like half of the world unicorns are Israeli. Half of the world cybersecurity unicorns are out of Israel. So this market has really changed dramatically during the last 5 years. And with this market changing and valuation of the companies soaring, so is the demand for a secondary private market. And this is what Simetria has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, I was in Tel Aviv last year for Tel Aviv FinTech Week, before the whole COVID craziness started and everything locked down. And I was very impressed. I did not expect, the number of high quality startups coming out of there, and it just seems like it's growing a lot. So I see that there is a need for a private marketplace, and you kind of answered my next question already. But what pain point is Simetria solving, and maybe you can dive a little more into the details.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to use this opportunity to thank Draper Goren Holm for being an early investor in Simetria, and also use this opportunity to announce that we have another investor joining now, the Swiss Bluefolio venture capital arm. Very great guys led by Mark Brown from Switzerland. So we are very excited about them joining, and we are looking forward to for additional investor joining. And Simetria, the pains of the private markets are, kind of clear. There's been a lot of reading about it, but the idea is that you can have this dichotomy in the market where you have only private companies, public company, and all the liquidity is with the private company and none of the liquidity is with the private company. This just doesn't make sense for a company like Coinbase, for example, to be zero liquidity until it's a $70 billion valuation, and only then meet liquidity. It just doesn't make sense. But then you see all kind of anomalies created out of there. For example, if you see when the private company meets liquidity, the founder, for example, of the private company and early investors, when this company is doing a round and there's oversubscription of the round, so meaning there's more people that want to buy the share than people that the company has to offer, then the founders and early investors have the opportunity to sell some of those shares. But if you look at it, economically, this is the worst time to sell the shares, because actually what the market is saying that the valuation of the round is underpricing these shares. So the best thing at that point would be to go to a private market and try to sell these shares, and this is what Simetria is doing. The second pain point, and this is very painful, is the employee angle. The employee are getting those option plans as a sort of retention, but unless the company is right before the IPO, then they don't look at it as a real retention offer. And then some of the employees, they leave the company, they find someone to finance the exercise price of those options and sell 80% of the exit rights to this someone. So it's like a lose-lose situation. The employee loses 80% of the exit rights and the company loses their retention. And I think this is another very significant role of those private markets. And Simetria has built a solution that offers a discrete model that we will just present of offering those securities without being affecting the valuation of the company and so on, and also a light solution.
Yeah, that's huge, and it's also something that until recently wasn't even legally possible, right? So you got this no action letter from the ISA, the Israeli Securities Authority, basically allowing you to do this. Can you talk about that a little more and give us some details? And also, what does that mean for the broader market? Because that doesn't just apply to Simetria.
Yeah. As a legal professional, this is something which you have this idea in your mind for a long time, and then you have the opportunity to execute on this idea. And the idea was that, like you have in the States, bulletin board markets, and most of them were built, and there was like non-action letter that was granted in 96, 97, and Greg Porger after me would be probably happy to tell you more about it. So the same as you have in the States, those bulletin board markets, then we can do the same in Israel, and actually attach a blockchain settlement to this private market. So like a usual private market bulletin board would be two people meeting, shaking hands, and then the lawyers start exchanging documents, and like 2 or 3 months afterwards, the transaction is finally complete if it is completed. But when you take this information system, like this bulletin board, which is an information system, and you attach a blockchain settlement, meaning that we can meet online, I can shake your hands, and then send you the tokens of my security. You can send me the token of your USDC, Bitcoin, or token which is within the system, and the transaction is over. Okay, so
no paperwork, no delay,
no paperwork, and we see the demo in a second, and you see how it works. But like, there's no paperwork. The transaction is instant. It's not a stock market because there's no engine in between that matches those orders. Yeah, it's illegal stuff.
Right.
And yes, you're right that we received a lot of support from Israeli Securities Authority. They actually went out with a statement after we got this non-action letter. Something I never saw in the past. They went out with a statement saying like, digital securities market are the future of the financial market in Israel. They're not a distant dream. This was the CEO of the Securities Authority. So we are very excited about it.
And that's some really great stuff, which is why we have invested in you. We're super stoked to be working with you. And we lost some time there in the beginning. I know you have a presentation ready, so
yeah, we're not doing a presentation. I'm sharing my screen. We'll do a very short demo of the technology that the Simetria is developing. Okay, and just go over the process that they are going to present now. Do you see my screen? Okay, cool. Okay.
Yes.
So what the process that we're seeing now is a signaling process where a company want to signal to the market that it is selling some of its stock options, and it does it discreetly to very specific players in the market. Then this player can signal back in a discreet way that it is interested in buying those shares in what price. And then the company signs the transaction, the investor signs the transaction on their side, and the transaction is executed. So this is the company. This is the interested party, the stakeholders within the company that want to sell some of their shares. The company now approves some of those shares to be sold. It sets the floor price. That floor price is now reflecting a $70 million valuation to the company. It actually packs those shares. There's 236,000 shares. It packs those shares in blocks. So the ticket size would be smaller. Let's say it's 11 blocks. And then it can decide to lock those shares, and it sets a timeline for the signal to work. Then it is decided to release the signal to the internal investors in the company, to secondary market VC, V Capital, and through the FinP2P network. These are the only persons or entities that are going to see this offer. Also, it decides which information does it want to share with those investors. So not all the information from the data room is shared with those investors. This is the final outcome of the signal that is the company created. It is confirmed. And now on the investor side, the investor see this signal. It can go into the data room. It can see some more information about the company. It can decide if it wants to invest or not, or to reply to this signal. It can decide to buy less than the 11 blocks that were offered. Let's say this investor want to buy 5 blocks, and also set the offer for the price that he want to buy those blocks, and reply to this signal. Then again, the company sees this offer to buy 5 blocks at a certain price, at a certain price per share. All the legal documents are clicked online, and this is actually signing the transaction. And this transaction is signed on the blockchain with all of the IOI, all of the signaling process, which is also documented into the tokens sold. And boom, the transaction is now signed by the company. The investor sees this transaction signed. It has about 5 hours to execute the transaction. You can see the clock here. It can review everything, all the information, and the blocks that the company approved to be sold. Then it signs the transaction document itself, and the transaction is closed when the tokens, which representing the shares, and the tokens representing the money, switch hands, and the cap table, of course, of both the company and the investor assets is updated. And now you can see secondary market VC is now a shareholder in the company. So yeah,
really cool. This is the first time I'm seeing this myself. I want to actually get another demo from you and dive into this a little more. This is really amazing stuff.
Yeah, what's cool about this process, like it's a very non-binding process. So, you know, if you're a founder of a company, you just want to check out like how much people would be willing to pay for Draper Goren Holm shares, for example. Yeah, you can signal this to various participants upon our network and through FinP2P network, and then receive non-binding offers. You know, and then only then you can use sign and execute on the transaction. And I think that you know, that's really the way to go with private assets.
Really cool, man. Hey, thanks for chatting, and sorry again for the rocky start. This is very amazing. I'm looking forward to more great news from you.
Thanks, Joseph. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great
Take care.